We've been talking a lot about the elections over the past several days, so you'd be forgiven if you missed this little story out of Harvard this week, claiming a mysterious cigar-shaped object we saw flying through our solar system last year may have been an alien spacecraft looking at Earth. Seriously. The object, I'm going to give it my best, Oumuamua, I think that's close, was spotted moving at speeds of 196,000 miles per hour, which is what led Harvard astronomers to their theory. So could it be true? Or as someone once said, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Our resident expert in all things space, sky, and telescopes. That would be nice to me. Kelly Beatty joins me with us today. Kelly, it's great to see you.
Hey, a pleasure always.
Please say yes. This was an alien spacecraft coming here to investigate Earth. Say yes.
It was not.
Why do you say it with such certainty?
It was not. Well, there's two things about this, first of all, that got astronomers' attention. First of all was the speed it was coming in. It had to be from beyond our solar system. That's the first time ever we've spotted something. Then the second thing
so that in and of itself is a big deal, even if it's not. Okay, great.
Absolutely. The second thing was that it was moving in a way that was tumbling, but it seemed to not just be passing through, it was accelerating as it was leaving.
Which is theoretically what got that Harvard person to say,
correct,
this is actually from an intelligent life or whatever.
Accelerations happen all the time if you're a comet, because you're giving off gas and dust. But they found no evidence that was a comet. There's no emissions, no telltale evidence. And so these two Harvard astronomers
they were,
said, well, if you made it a giant sheet of paper, then it could use the radiation pressure of the sun to push it outward and accelerate it. Now, this is in the Astrophysical Journal, and it's a pretty prestigious place, but there are holes all over this.
Well, tell us what they are.
Well, for one thing, this object came within, closer to the sun than Mercury, which it would have experienced a temperature of like 900 degrees, hot enough to melt lots of things. Mm-hmm. So the aliens must be very clever with their technology to build a membrane that could withstand heat. Right?
Well, might they not be?
I don't think so.
Okay, next.
The second thing was that it had to have been, for as big as it was, roughly 300, the size of a football field. Uh-huh. It had to be no less than a millimeter thick. All right, and so it can't, in my mind, last for the millions, if not billions of years across interstellar space and not get damaged, holes punched in it, something like that. I think what it really is an interstellar chocolate chip cookie. And I have proof, right?
Wondering why Braude, yes.
So if it were, most people think it's this kind of shape, very long and skinny, right? And it's tumbling. Now, if I stress this chocolate chip cookie, it's going to break apart really fast. Uh-huh. So the idea is that it must be a really solid object, all right? Or it could have the shape of a pancake or a flying saucer, right? Uh-huh. Either way, we really have no explanation. But, just because we don't have an explanation doesn't mean it's an alien spaceship.
Yeah, but, okay, so one, we don't have an explanation. That's which I think weakens your argument in my non-scientific opinion. But secondly, you don't seem to be saying they can't be right. You seem to be saying you don't think they're right. Is that fair?
That's true. And I'm going to quote the great Carl Sagan, who said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
I would agree with that.
And all these two have is a model that says, if it were this and if it were that, then it could work.
I don't understand the science community well enough to know the answer to this question. Would people like that ever do something where they exaggerate their claim purely to create a level of excitement and dialogue around something, or is it likely they really believe this thing?
Provoke?
Yes, provoke. Yeah, that's what.
Debate?
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but I've read the paper. I mean, it's based on solid scientific evidence and modeling, and they go to a lot of trouble to explain all the reasons it could be a thin sheet of something, what we call a light sail or a solar sail, but they don't really explore all the reasons that it could not be. And
but it could be. It could be.
It could be, but that
unlikely with Kelly Beatty, but it could be.
Absolutely.
Before you go, though, speaking of life from another planet, MIT's doing something with some laser in an attempt to get people from other entities from other planets to talk to us. Here's my question. If that worked, how do we know that we would understand the communication?
Yeah, so that you're absolutely right.
Ooh.
And in fact, this notion of using lasers for interstellar communication is not new. The SETI communities, those seeking extraterrestrial intelligence, have long known that lasers are one of the most efficient ways to to transmit messages across interstellar space. So this MIT study has simply turned it around and said, well, if we transmit, if we take a powerful megawatt laser, put it at the focus of one of the world's giant telescopes that isn't even built yet, we could perhaps communicate with another civilization. It's speculative, a curious idea.
Even though you're a party pooper, it's good to see you. Thank
Pleasure.
you. You done with the cookies?
Yeah, let's
I'll
eat
take
them.
these right here.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.